Hey, what's going on everyone? This is your boy Tanveer the Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons, as all your support really helps me remain motivated to continue making these type of videos on this channel. So, today's video is going to be relatively shorter, but something I'm making on the fly because I did not prepare a script for it. When I prepare a script for something, then you know I put some effort and thought and deep analysis into that video. But this one, it doesn't need deep analysis from my end because this is very obvious territory for me. But I'm going to talk about voice acting and comparing voice actors between Japan and North America. Now, why do I feel not qualified but in a better position than many others to make this commentary, to bring some objectivity into something that people still foolishly believe is subjective? Because unlike most people, my world revolves a lot more around sound, around voice, and around their analysis to perceive the environment, because I am legally blind. So this is almost my hand being forced in the matter, that I have to rely more on sound and even touch at times. Getting to this, a few points. And yes, I am going to use a few examples and the clips that I have found were the best I could find on such short notice. Who are the better voice actors between Japan and the United States? This depends on the content. Because there are examples where the Japanese voice actors are a bit better than the English voice actors, and the English voice actors, there are examples where the English voice actors are better than the Japanese voice actors and actresses. I'm just using a collective term. Let's break that down into the male voice actors and the female voice actors. The male voice actors, my problem with Japanese voice acting is that the male voice actors are very, very monotone. And yes, you can call it a cultural thing and you can call it a collective ideal, whatever, as if those are not subject to criticism. Those are not subject to analysis. Those are not subject to improvements. No, I don't live in that world, buddy. The end product ends up being the Japanese male voice actors, for the most part, being very monotone. Let me use an example from my favorite game so far of all time, God of War 2018. Notice in this clip how Kratos says, "Athena, get out of my head," both in Japanese and in English.
Athena ka. 二度と現れるな。
Athena. Get out of my head.
In Japanese, the person reading the script perhaps even got the context wrong. He says, Athena ka. You usually use that as a question. Are you asking if Athena is there and you needed confirmation? And also, the tone in the English version is so much more in line with Kratos' personality. In the Japanese version, Kratos sounds like a narrator of a Dragon Ball Z or a Naruto manga comic. An old man, grumpy narrator. A monotone old man. Grumpy old man. Let me use another part from this game. And this is one of the most telling parts of this game. And this goes to show that the Japanese voice actor for this game perhaps did not get the context of this scene. And shout out to Christopher Judge. he does not get enough credit, I feel. He does not get enough credit for the change in tone and the incredible amount of storytelling that is implied by that change in tone in this scene. And he does it all over, but in this scene it is very evident. Just take a look at how Christopher Judge says, the truth, I'm a god boy. And see how the Japanese voice actors say the exact same line.
Truth. The truth. I'm a god boy.
本当のこと真実か私は神だ
Did you see in the Christopher Judge version, there is a clear change in tone and inflection. First from Kratos acknowledging that there is the truth, then Kratos being afraid of Atreus finding the truth and being regretful of his past, of what the truth actually is. And then Kratos finally manages to collect himself and tell Atreus part of the truth. This tone change, this vocal range is missing from the Japanese version. And this is why I was so confused when I saw that video, or when I came across the title that the Japanese version of God of War sounds awesome or something like that. Are you out of your mind? You have a version where Kratos sounds like an old withered samurai, where Kratos should sound like Kratos. He should sound unlike any Japanese samurai or warlord, because Kratos is above all of them. He should sound like something much more battle tested, yet having a very complex character. This is what T.C. Carson did. This is what Christopher Judge did. And this is what the Japanese voice actors who are trying to dub Kratos don't do. You have Mimir that sounds like Muramasa from Ninja Gaiden. Mimir should not sound like Muramasa from Ninja Gaiden. The voice of Freya, I will say, however, is done right. But moving to another piece of content where I feel the Japanese voice acting is actually better, and this goes to show that it depends on the content. Let's move at Street Fighter 4. Let's look at this scene of Akuma in Japanese and in English.
この気配間違いない小僧め目覚めたか封じたか余計なことをしよくぞ無か面白いし合うとしよう小僧の運命をかけて
This feeling, there's no mistaking it. He has awakened. You've sealed off his power. How dare you? Raging demon! The power of nothingness. Interesting. Let this be a fight to the death. The winner claims the cub.
In the Japanese version, he sounds more collected. He sounds evil, but he sounds as if he has principles. In the English version, he also sounds evil, but he sounds maniacally evil. And yes, that is one way to describe Akuma if he wants to kill someone. Okay, so it is aligned with his character. But the Japanese voice is slightly more on point than the American one. The difference between the Japanese Akuma and the American Akuma is not as great as the difference between the Japanese Kratos and the American Kratos. The American Kratos is head, shoulders, and waist better than the Japanese Kratos. But the Japanese Akuma is slightly better than the American Akuma. So that covers the male voice actors. Now, the female voice actors. Here is where I will have to give Japan a lot of credit. The female voice actors of Japan are some of the most talented voice actors that I have ever come across. This is actually throughout all of gaming and anime, especially for content with Japan. The female voice actors from Japan and their American counterpart, there is a distinct difference in quality most of the time, where the Japanese voice actress ends up being a lot more superior to the female counterpart. But going back to God of War, the voice of Freya, the Japanese and the American voice actress, they're almost identical in quality. I am okay with both of them because both of them are good. But to illustrate the point between Japanese and American voice actresses, the female voice actors, I'm going to use another game that I played. This is Dead or Alive 5. I actually bought this when this was released. The Japanese female voice actress for Kasumi is Hoko Kawashima, and I have looked at her profile. Good Lord, she is very, very talented. Her vocal range is unbelievable. This is Hoko Kawashima playing Kasumi, and her English counterpart is Lauren Landa or something like that. Notice this very scene, first by Lauren Landa and then by Hoko Kawashima.
It's you. But why would you do this? あなたがどうしてこんなことをするのよ?
Did you notice the night and day difference between Hoko Kawashima and Lauren Landa? Lauren Landa is just reading a script. She just has a basic idea on what to say. Hoko Kawashima in this scene, from when she says anata ga, then from the first doshite she says, then to the second doshite when she says it and scolds Lisa Hamilton. The incredible vocal range and the storytelling with that vocal range connected with Kasumi's character and personality. This goes to show that Tecmo, for their English voice actors, first of all, they got the wrong people, and second, they probably don't care. Because how can one voice actress get it so spot on and another voice actress get it so off point? Also, there is this one thing that Japanese voice actresses do which I did not see in North American voice actresses for the most part. And yes, to illustrate this, I had to acquire a clip from that god-awful, stupid, weird waste of talent and software and time, Dead or Alive Venus Vacation. But this example is shown in this stupid waste of software all over. So this was the easiest place where I could go to get this example. Okay. When it comes to the context involving an emotionally charged situation or something to do with someone that the female character cares about, or is dealing with someone that the female character finds important, maybe a family member, maybe a romantic interest, maybe someone she's trying to get with, maybe someone she's trying to flirt with or something. When there's that emotional element involved. Japanese voice actresses tend to do what I call the helium voice, where they sound more girly. Just compare the tone between these two clips in Dead or Alive 5 and Dead or Alive Venus Vacation with Hoko Kawashima doing the voice acting.
あなたなら知っていますよね。私がケリをつけなきゃいけないの。オーナーさん、またここでお散歩しませんか？
Did you catch that? Just go back and watch again. And then you'll see that in the Venus Vacation part, there seems to be a little bit more girly attitude, more of a girly tone in Kasumi's voice, also voiced by Hoko Kawashima, compared to Dead or Alive 5, where she's talking to Hayate, and there is none of this. She's much more serious. This goes to show that Japanese voice actresses, they take their craft, I believe, very, very seriously, and they are very contextually aware and know what tone to use when. So, just to end this video in summation, the Japanese voice actors are a bit too monotone. The Japanese voice actresses have much more vocal range. The North American voice actors, they have much more vocal range. The North American voice actresses, for some part, I'm not generalizing, but for some parts, they are a bit contextually unaware. So who is better? This depends on the content. But overall, I'll have to say for males, it's the North Americans. For the females, it's the Japanese. Guys, let me know what you think about the comparison of Japanese versus North American voice acting in the comment section below. And as always, hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification button. This is your boy, the Bengal Dragon, signing out.